Dr. Elena Vasquez pressed her palm against the cool metal wall of Research Station Kepler 442b, watching the rust-colored planets slowly rotate below through the observation deck's reinforced viewport. The station orbited this desolate world like a metallic moon, its solar arrays glinting in the distant star's amber light. 3 years of isolation had taught her to find beauty in the mundane, the way meteor dust sparkled against the hull, the rhythmic hum of life support systems, the dance of her own reflection in the glass. The research facility housed specimens from across 12 sectors, each one a puzzle piece in humanity's understanding of xenobiology. Elena had dedicated her life to studying creatures that others feared, believing that knowledge could bridge the gap between species. The station's sterile corridors reminded her of university laboratories back on Earth, but here, floating in the void between worlds, her work felt infinitely more significant. "Dr. Vasquez to Lab 7, crackled the intercom, jolting her from contemplation. Her assistant Marcus sounded strained. "We have a situation." Elena hurried through the curved hallways, her magnetic boots clicking against the deck plating. The station's artificial gravity felt heavier today, or perhaps dread was weighing her down. Lab 7 housed their most dangerous specimen, creature from the void sectors that had been classified as species Omega-9, known throughout the galaxy as Devourers. The lab's blast doors hung open like a metal mouth, frozen mid-scream. Inside, Containment Unit 7 lay shattered, its reinforced walls twisted outward as if something had exploded from within. Green biofluid pooled on the floor, mixed with fragments of what had once been a quantum-locked cage capable of holding a small star's worth of energy. "Where's Marcus?" Elena whispered, stepping carefully around the debris. Her question was answered by a wet, labored breathing echoing from the ventilation system above. Something large moved through the ducts, causing the metal to groan and buckle. The creature was loose, somewhere in the station's network of passages that connected every room, every corridor. Alana's hands trembled as she activated the emergency beacon. Protocol demanded immediate evacuation, but the next supply ship wasn't due for 6 weeks. She was alone with humanity's most feared nightmare, being whose species had reportedly consumed the populations of entire moons, leaving nothing but empty husks drifting in space. The breathing grew closer, accompanied by a sound like claws scraping against metal. Elena backed toward the door, but stopped when she noticed something that made her scientific mind override her terror. Among the wreckage lay scattered food packets, military rations designed to sustain a human for days. They had been torn open, their contents consumed completely. The creature wasn't just escaping. It was starving. The main laboratory felt like a cathedral of science, its high ceilings disappearing into shadows where emergency lighting couldn't reach. Elena barricaded herself inside, using magnetic clamps to seal the reinforced doors. Around her, specimen containers lined the walls like glowing windows into alien worlds, each one containing life forms that had never known the touch of Earth's sun. The station's computer system flickered intermittently, damaged by whatever force had freed the Devourer. Elena worked frantically at her console, trying to access the creature's file through corrupted data streams. What she found challenged everything she thought she knew. Species Omega-9, designation Devourer, stood 8 feet tall with an exoskeleton that shifted colors like oil on water. Most disturbing were the appendages, not arms or legs in any human sense, but flowing extensions that could reshape themselves into tools, weapons, or sensors. Previous encounters had lasted minutes before complete annihilation of human forces. Buried in the classified sections, Elena discovered fragments of older reports. Before they became Devourers, this species had been known as the symphonic, collective beings who communicated through harmonious sound patterns and survived by converting stellar radiation into nourishment. The name change had occurred 50 years ago, coinciding with the first attacks on mining colonies. A thunderous crash shook the laboratory as something massive struck the sealed door. Elena's breath caught as she watched the reinforced metal begin to buckle inward. Through the growing cracks, she glimpsed movements, something dark and fluid, pressing against the barrier. The door exploded inward with a shriek of tortured metal. Elena stumbled backward, her heart hammering as the creature flowed into the room like living shadow. Up close, it was both terrifying and magnificent, its form, constantly shifting between solid and liquid states, bioluminescent patterns pulsing. Beneath its surface, like trapped lightning dot, it moved toward her with predatory grace, and Elena understood that her death was seconds away. The emergency weapon locker hung open beside her, a plasma rifle within easy reach. Her fingers closed around empty air. Instead, she grabbed her emergency ration pack. "You're hungry," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the creature's otherworldly breathing. "I can see it in your movements. You're not a monster, you're starving." The creature paused, its flowing form solidifying into something almost humanoid. Elena stepped forward, every instinct screaming at her to run, and placed the food packet on the floor between them. "This isn't much," she said, backing away slowly. "But it's what I have." For a moment that stretched like eternity, neither moved. Then, with movements more careful than Elena had expected, the creature extended a tendril toward the offering. Asterisk, the creature consumed the ration pack, not by devouring it, but by enveloping it within its translucent flesh. Elena watched in fascination as the food dissolved into component molecules, distributed throughout its body like nutrients flowing through living tissue. The bioluminescent patterns beneath its surface brightened, pulsing in what she began to recognize as rhythmic sequences. "You're trying to communicate," Elena breathed, her scientific training overriding her fear. She moved slowly to her workstation, fingers dancing across the audio analysis console. The creature's breathing had changed from ragged gasps to something more melodic, low-frequency vibrations that reminded her of whale songs from Earth's ancient oceans. When she fed the sounds through her translation matrix, patterns emerged that made her heart race with excitement. The creature was speaking in mathematical harmonics, using frequency modulations to convey meaning. Elena's translation software, designed for xenobiological communication, began to parse the alien language into understandable concepts: that hunger dash, pain dash, confusion dash gratitude. "My name is Elena," she said aloud, while typing corresponding frequency patterns into her console. The computer converted her words into harmonic pulses that filled the laboratory with haunting music. The creature's form shuddered, then stabilized into a more defined shape, still alien, but somehow more purposeful. When it responded, the translation came through her speakers as broken but comprehensible concepts. "Elena dash, friend dash giver dash of dash sustenance, da dash am dash echo dash of dash lost dash songs, double quotes echo of lost songs," Elena repeated, testing the name. It felt ancient, carrying weight that spoke of tragedy beyond human comprehension. "Where do you come from, Echo?" The creature's response came not just as sound, but as projected images that formed in the air, between them holographic memories stored within its living tissue. Elena gasped as she witnessed scenes of breathtaking beauty, vast, crystalline. Cities floating in the void between stars, powered by captured starlight. Beings like Echo moved through gardens of living energy, their forms dancing in harmonious patterns that created music capable of reshaping matter itself. But the images darkened. Ships appeared, human vessels bearing corporate logos Elena recognized. From mining consortiums. They descended on the crystal cities like mechanical vultures, tearing apart the structures that had taken millennia to grow. Worst of all, They deployed weapons that poisoned the very starlight the symphonic collective fed upon, turning their nourishment into toxin. Food sources corrupted, colonies destroyed, survivors scattered hungry desperate. Elena felt tears streaming down her face as she understood the horrible truth. The Devourer attacks hadn't been acts of aggression. They had been desperate attempts to find sustenance by a dying species. Driven mad by hunger and the loss of their civilization, they had turned to consuming whatever organic matter they could find. The mining companies, Elena whispered. They destroyed your people's food sources to claim the star systems for themselves. Truth speaker Elena understands pain. Echo's form began to shift again, but this time towards something almost beautiful, patterns of light flowing beneath translucent skin like aurora trapped in glass. For the first time since the containment breach, Elena felt something other than fear. She felt hope. ***. Days blended into an otherworldly routine aboard the damaged station. Elena shared her meals with Echo, watching the creature's health slowly return as proper nutrition replaced desperate hunger. She learned that Echo's species could survive on almost any organic matter when starving, but they thrived on specially prepared nutrients that mimicked the cosmic radiation they had once fed upon. Using the station's chemical synthesizers, Elena created increasingly sophisticated food combinations. Each meal became an experiment in xenobiology and an act of friendship. Echo responded by sharing more memories, glimpses of a civilization that had existed in harmony with the cosmos for millions of years before humanity had even developed agriculture. The creature's intelligence astounded Elena. Echo understood complex, scientific concepts and could manipulate matter at the molecular level using specialized appendages that unfolded like living tools. Together, they began repairing the station's damaged systems, Echo's abilities proving invaluable for reaching spaces too small or dangerous for human access. Your people weren't just intelligent, Elena observed one day as Echo delicately rewired a plasma conduit with appendages fine as surgical instruments. You were artists, scientists. Everything you created was both functional and beautiful. Beauty is purpose in harmony. Echo replied through the translation system they had refined together. Human concepts separate art from function we no one. Elena found herself changing too. The isolation she had felt for 3 years evaporated in the presence of a mind so alien yet so compatible with her own. They developed their own shorthand communication, mixing harmonic frequencies with gesture and even direct biochemical exchange when Echo carefully extended sensor tendrils to touch Elena's hands. But their peaceful coexistence was shattered when Elena's long-range sensors detected ships approaching the station. Military vessels bearing the insignia of the Galactic Defense Force, humanity's response to devour threats. They're coming to destroy us both, Elena said, her voice hollow as she read the tactical display. 12 warships, enough firepower to sterilize this entire system. Echo's form darkened, bioluminescent patterns shifting to deep reds and purples that Elena had learned indicated distress. Elena friend must leave. Echo will face ending alone. No. Elena's response surprised them both with its firmness. We've learned too much. Your people aren't monsters, and the galaxy needs to know the truth. We have to find another way. She began working frantically at her communications console, recording everything Echo's memories, their conversations, the proof that the Devourer species had been driven to desperation by corporate greed. But before she could transmit the data, Echo gently stopped her with a tendril on her shoulder. Truth alone insufficient. Echo sang in harmonics that conveyed sadness deeper than Elena could fathom. Humans fear what they do not understand must dash show dash different dash path. Elena understood. Data could be dismissed, explained away, or classified beyond public reach. But a living example, a human and devourer working together, might be powerful enough to change minds. Then we face them together, Elena said, taking Echo's tendril in her hands. As friends. The warships emerged from hyperspace like metallic predators, their weapons already charging as they took positions around the research station. Elena stood on the observation deck with Echo beside her, watching humanity's finest warriors prepare to destroy what they feared most. Admiral Sarah Chon's face appeared on the communication screen, her expression grim with military resolve. Dr. Vasquez, our sensors indicate a Category Omega threat aboard your station. Evacuate immediately. We're implementing Scorched Protocol in 30 minutes. Admiral, wait, Elena said, stepping closer to the camera. I need you to listen, Doctor. That thing has already killed your research staff. Don't let it manipulate you. These creatures are master deceivers. Marcus wasn't killed, Elena replied calmly. He was evacuated in an emergency pod when the initial containment failure triggered automatic protocols. Check your records. His pod was picked up by the supply vessel Meridian 6 days ago. Admiral Chun's certainty flickered for just a moment. That's not what our briefings indicated. Because your briefings are based on lies, Elena said, and gestured for Echo to step into view. The creature moved with deliberate grace, its form shifting to appear as non-threatening as possible while still maintaining its alien dignity. When it spoke, the translation system carried its words with haunting. Beauty.greetings, warriors, Elena single quotes S people. I am Echo of Lost Songs. I seek no violence, only understanding. The bridge of the Admiral's ship erupted in shouts and alarms. Elena could see tactical officers reaching for weapon controls before Chon's sharp command stopped them. Admiral, Elena continued, what you called devourers were once called the Symphonic Collective. They were artists and builders who lived in harmony with the cosmos until mining corporations destroyed their food sources and drove them to starvation. Every attack on human colonies was an act of desperation by a dying species. She activated her workstation, transmitting the memories Echo had shared, the crystal cities, the poisoned starlight, the corporate ships that had brought genocide disguised as progress. This is footage from their collective memory, Elena explained. Documentation of what really happened 50 years ago. On the screen, Admiral Chon's face had gone pale as she watched civilizations crumble. When the transmission ended, silence stretched between the ships like a held breath. Elena friend speaks truth. Echo sang, its harmonics carrying a depth of sorrow that transcended species. My people became monsters to survive. Shame burns brighter than starfire. The corporations buried this, Elena said, classified it beyond reach, and painted your people as mindless killers. But Echo isn't mindless. They're brilliant, capable of incredible beauty and scientific advancement. They could be allies, teachers, friends. Admiral Chun was quiet for a long moment, consulting with officers off-screen. When she returned, her expression had changed from military resolve to human uncertainty. Dr. Vasquez, what you're suggesting? It would require a complete restructuring of our xenological policies. The political implications alone would save lives, Elena finished. Both human and symphonic. The survivors of Echo's people are scattered throughout the galaxy, driven mad by hunger and loss. But they could be helped, healed, brought back to who they truly are. Echo stepped forward, its form shifting into patterns of breathtaking beauty-living art that spoke of hope rather than hunger. Echo requests chance to prove worth. The creature sang. Will work with Elena friend dash to dash heal dash broken dash songs dash of dash my dash people. Will dash show dash galaxy. Dash that dash monsters dash can dash become dash music dash again. Admiral Chun looked between Elena and Echo for a long moment, then made a decision that would echo through history. Stand down weapons, she ordered her fleet. We're going to try something unprecedented. In the observation deck of a small research station orbiting a rust-colored world, a human and an alien who had once been called a monster began planning how to heal a galaxy's worth of fear and misunderstanding. Their friendship had already transformed them both. Now it would transform everything else. The story Elena had thought was about survival became something greater, a testament to the power of compassion to create change in even the darkest corners of space. And in the void between worlds, where fear had once reigned supreme, hope began to sing in harmonious frequencies that bridged the gap between species. Asterisk.